Hello and welcome to my branded Lair deck profile. First, the monsters. We are playing 3 Arima Wicked Warden. This can be discarded to the graveyard to add Lair of Darkness from our deck to the hand. Also, we contribute this to draw 1 card or tribute another monster to add 1 dark monster with 2000 or more defense from our deck to the hand. Then we are playing 3 Lilith Lady of Lament. This can, as a quick effect, tribute 1 monster to reveal 3 normal traps from our deck, and then our opponent randomly chooses one that we can set to our side of the field. 1 Darkest Diabolus, Lord of the Lair. This can special summon itself from our graveyard or our hand if a monster we control is tributed, and it can tribute 1 monster to force our opponent to put 1 card from their hand either to the top or the bottom of the deck. Then the newly released Loris Lady of Lament. This can recycle our banished traps or our traps that are in the graveyard. Also, it can set us a trap if a monster we control is tributed. For the branded part of the deck, we are playing Mercuria. This is a hand trap if we control a branded fusion monster. Also, if it's banished with something like Allure of Darkness, we can add either albaz from our deck to the hand or any monster that lists it. Talking about monsters that list albaz, we are playing 3 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This is most of the time an upstart goblin and graveyard setup because it can send 1 branded spell or trap from our deck to the grave if it's in our hand, then put itself to the bottom of the deck and draw 1. This way we can send something like branded sword to the graveyard and we can draw 1 card. Or if we send a branded spell or trap from our hand, we can special summon this and, for example, tribute it for a virus card. Then I'm playing 2 Fallen of Albaz. You can cut this down to 1, but it's really risky if they then negate your Lobellion, for example. Finally, 3 Springans Kit. Kit is nice because it can not only search you any branded spell or trap, but it's also a special summon if we control a fusion monster or have 1 in the graveyard, and we can recycle our banished spells and traps with this as well. Then finally, we are playing 1 Shaddoll Beast. This not only draws us a card if it's used as fusion material, but it enables us as well to make Shaddoll Winder. For the spells, we are playing 1 Gold Sarcophagus. This can banish Mercuria to get you a search. 3 Allure of Darkness. This can basically banish Mercuria to get you a search as well, and it can draw you 2 cards. 3 Branded Fusion, because this gives you a boss monster and big bunguses to tribute. Then 3 Lair of Darkness. This makes you able to tribute your opponent's monsters if you want to tribute something for a card effect. And finally, 1 Upstart Goblin. If you want, you can play Called by the Grave instead, but I just felt like I didn't need the Called by the Grave. But yeah, Called by is cheap as well, so feel free to replace this. And our traps. We are playing 1 Trap Trick. This means that we can play all other normal traps at 2. We are playing 2 Deck Devastation Virus. This is basically an FTK if you can pull it off against Blight, because this destroys all monsters in our opponent's hand with 1500 or less attack, which sometimes is just their whole hand. Then we are playing 2 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This can destroy all spells or traps in our opponent's hand. So if we play against some trap heavy deck, we can make them destroy all traps in their hand, or if we play against some spell heavy deck, we can just make them destroy all spells in their hand before they can even use them against us. Then we are playing 2 Ballista Squad. This can tribute 1 monster to target 1 card on the field to destroy it. This is nice because it's just generic target 1 card on the field to destroy it, and it can tribute another monster our opponent controls if we have Lair of Darkness on field. Then we have one-offs of Branded Banishment and Branded Sword. You can recycle these with Kit even if they are banished. And Sword, you can send this with Albion to the graveyard after you banished a Mercuria, and then you can banish Sword from the graveyard to add Mercuria back. Then you have a hand trap if you end on a branded fusion monster, and Branded Banishment can special summon a level 8 fusion from your graveyard, and then it's basically a super poly. You can fusion summon with materials from both sides of the field. This means that you contribute your fusion monsters with some virus cards, for example, or with Ballista Squad. Then you can bring them back with this, and then you can summon with your opponent's monsters. This is really nice because this is searchable with something like an Albion as well. Our extra deck, we are playing 2 Mirror Jade, just because it's a great card, and with Branded Fusion we can easily make this. Then we are playing 2 Lobellion, because we are not playing any light monsters in our main deck. This is our main go-to fusion card. It has to discard a card, but we don't really mind that much. Then 2 Albion. This is the best monster to send off Mirror Jade, probably, because it can get us a search. For example, a Branded Banishment if we wanted to. We could also send a Titanic Lad though. This can special us in albaz in our end phase, and then we can either make a sprint with one of our opponent's monsters, or we can just make a Mirror Jade. Then we are playing one Brigrand as well. If we send this with Mirror Jade, we can add a Mercurier to get a monster negate. We are playing one Dracostapalia. This can mostly be summoned with Branded Banishment. If you have Lair or Darkness on the field, then all monsters on the field are dark. And this only needs a dark monster plus a fusion monster. So if you summon back a fusion monster from your graveyard, then this can be made with any monster that your opponent has. And finally, for the fusions, one El Shaddoll Winder. This can be made with a Shaddoll Beast, and it's undestroyable and locks our opponent into only using one special summon per turn. For our link monsters, because sometimes we are not locked under branded fusion, we are playing one Barricade Borg Blocker. This basically just says that our opponent cannot destroy any face-up spells we control. Also, it has a downwards arrow, so you can technically co-link a Nightmare Griffin. This will probably not happen, but you could make one. Then one Nightmare Unicorn, just to go into Griffin a bit easier. And finally, one Beat Cop. Beat Cop can tribute one monster to target one card on the field and place one counter on it. And when it would be destroyed, you can remove the counter instead. Nightmare Unicorn is nice as well, because it just has the shuffle one card on the field back into the deck effect. Yep. And now to the side deck. First, our spells. You contribute your opponent's monsters for cost, but only if you can activate the Lair of Darkness. So this helps if your opponent has a board of multiple negates. Then one Duster in case you play against back row. One Change of Heart just because it's a great going second card and this deck is a going first deck. And 3 Enemy Controller. If you go second, then you contribute one of your opponent's monsters with this to take control of another monsters of theirs, which is just insane. And because we are playing so many branded fusion monsters, if they have a Mirror Jade, we can send one monster from our extra deck as well. So this is a really cool card. Then the traps. We are playing 3 Solemn Judgment. This prevents an evenly matched or a Lightning Storm. Then 2 Darklight. This contribute one monster to destroy all monsters that were special summoned this turn. This means that you can tribute maybe a Spell Trap Negate to then basically have a one-sided torrential tribute, which is really nice. And because we are playing Trap Trick, we only have to play this at 2. And finally, 2 D-Barrier. If we go first, we essentially have 3 copies of D-Barrier with Lilith, 1 copy of D-Barrier with a Trap Trick, and 2 copies of D-Barrier with D-Barrier. So yeah, D-Barrier is a busted card, and this is really accessible if you play Lair. Now for some Testhands. Okay, cut in half, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna assume my opponent always has a Veiler, and I'm always going first. I will... this hand is tricky. So I could either do kind of Blind Allure, because then I don't have a guaranteed Lair, or I use a Rima to get myself a Lair, and then I'm sitting on Deck Devastation and Eradicator. The Branded Banishment is kind of a brick, but happens. I'll first check what would happen if I do a Blind Allure. I'll draw a Branded Fusion, and I'll draw another Rima. Yeah, insane. I'll banish the Rima, keep the Branded Fusion. Then I will activate a Rima, discard this to the graveyard, get myself a Lair of Darkness. I will activate myself a Branded Fusion. I'll send myself a albaz, obviously, and a copy of... I'm thinking if I want to go for Beast. Or I could go Albion to add a Mercurier, basically. I could go for... like, Albion is probably not the play. Diabolus might be the play. Now I think I'll send myself a Shaddoll Beast. So send these, make myself a Lubellion. Make myself a Lubellion. Then I'll do 1 Lubellion, discard for cost myself a... This is tricky. Like I could tribute Lobellion with deck devastation or eradicator, so if I know what my opponent is playing, I can either like split matchup or like any other matchup basically. Let's say they are playing a deck that has, let's say they are playing strikers, then I'll discard deck devastation, and 2 is gonna be the beast, and they Veiler the Lobellion. So with beast I'm gonna draw 1. I'm just gonna give the deck another cut. Oh shit, I didn't cut on camera, so I'll give the deck another shuffle and cut, and then draw 1 card with the beast. Then I will activate Lair of Darkness. Normal summon myself a Loris. I don't in any way have 3 traps in the graveyard yet that I could recycle with Loris, but I can just set 2. Then on my opponent's turn I can flip the Eradicator Epidemic Virus, tribute the Lobellion, declare spell, and if it would be like Striker or Drytron or something, they probably are gonna lose because they are losing all their spells. And as I said earlier, I could have chosen to go for the deck devastation as well. And then let's say they somehow get a big bungus out, then I can Branded Banishment, get myself back the Lobellion, and then I can fusion summon with their monster in like anything I want basically, because their monsters are dark monsters with Lair of Darkness. I can make a Draco Stapelion, or I can just make anything. Like if they have an extra deck monster, I can't make Mirror Jade yet, but I can still make much. Okay, then let's go for the second test stand. I'll try to keep my deck in view a bit better this time, but I mean I showed you my hand from the start on, so you saw that no cards changed. Then here's my deck. I'll give it another cut. Shuffle, 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 cut in half, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, at first I wanted to say that this looks like a bad hand, but it's okay-ish. I am gonna, like I said, they are always gonna have a Veiler. So if I would go for the kids, they could just Veiler this and then I don't have anything. Yeah, if they would negate the kit, then this hand is done. Like I can Arima, discard this to get myself a Lair of Darkness. Then let's say they don't have a Veiler, because otherwise this hand is dead. Then I normal summon myself a kit effect. I'll get myself a Branded Fusion. Then I can activate Branded Fusion. I'll send myself a I'll send myself a probably beast again. I'll send myself a beast because I don't have any way to tribute something to get the Diabolus back from the graveyard, and a Fallen of Albaz. Then I will make myself a Lobellion. Lobellion 1, Beast 2. So I'll draw 1 with Beast, but before I'm just gonna give the deck another cut, draw 1, and Lobellion already discards for cost, so I would have needed to discard from my hand. Card that's already in here, I'll discard myself a Fallen of Albaz. The drawn card is an Upstart, and then Lobellion would shuffle myself the Beast and Albaz back into the deck to make myself a Winder. Great card. Have fun drawing your Lightning Storm against the attack position Winder, because it's not going to do much. Then I will activate Lair of Darkness because it's funny. It doesn't do much right now, but yeah, I'll activate Upstart Goblin. Hopefully draw a trap. Yay! This is exactly why, like, the Upstart Goblin is not a terraforming or something. I can set myself the Ballista Squad, and I got 1 monster negate with Mercury. I got a Winder on board. I got 1 tribute their monsters for cost, and destroy 1 of their cards. So basically they can't really play around this because it tributes for cost. I get a Mercury even if they would like lightning storm my back row, and they are under window. So have fun with one special summon, and even if that one special summon would out the window, I still get a Mercury and the Ballista Squad. And let's go for a final test hand. The first two were okay, even if this one couldn't have played through Veiler. But I mean, Veiler isn't played that much this format, I guess. It's still played, but I'm not really scared of D-Shift as well with this deck, which is cool. Like I can play against Flunder and I don't really mind because like I can tribute the Flunder monster for cost. I could, yeah, they can't really do much. Like even if they barrier statue me, I could tribute the barrier statue, and I don't like I'm not gonna cope that much and say I don't need special summoning, but yeah, I can tribute that stuff before. You can play this even more trap heavy if you wanted to, but I think this build is really nice. Like I tried a more trap heavy build at first, but this one works out way better in my opinion. Big shout out to Tioman as well, who gave me an idea for this deck, or gave me a list that is really similar, and I just edited it a bit. Okay, this hand is interesting as well. Let's go for an Allure. Probably we are gonna banish the Loris, but I don't know yet. Albion and another Eradicator Epidemic Virus. That's not that good. I'll banish the Loris. Then I'll activate Albion. Send myself from the deck where's my sword? Send myself a sword to the graveyard, so this way we could get something back that we want later. And then Albion, I'll give the deck another shuffle at first, cut in half. Albion to the bottom of the deck and then draw one card. Let's see what the drawn card is. Oh, it's Upstart Goblin again. Just thin your deck and then draw with Upstart. Kick W, it's that easy. Do I want to play risky? Like I could either... It really depends on what this draws me into. Like if this draws me into like a branded fusion, then I could special summon this and spend my normal summon on Laura and Lilith right now. I think I'm gonna be that risky. So normal summon Lilith, then Lilith F, tribute itself for cost. Even if they like try to Veiler, I'll just chain this. And then Lilith will reveal myself a trap trick, probably because this can get us anything. A trap trick and a, let's say, yeah, why not? I'm gonna say, no, just for it to be easier, I'm gonna say 2 deck devastation viruses. Then our opponent is randomly gonna choose one. I'll say the middle one, deck devastation, so those go back. And I'll give the deck another shuffle. And I will draw one with Upstart. Oh, this is set, by the way. It's not added to hand, so draw one with Upstart. This is the drawn card. Hey, it's Branded Fusion. Nice. So Branded Fusion, then get ourselves a Fallen of Albaz. That much is sure. Yeah, if like I could have gone for the Lilith later and then send the Darkest Diabolus right now and then could have special summoned it back from the graveyard, but I wanted to deck thin a bit with the Lilith, so that I'm more likely drawn to my Branded Fusion. I'm gonna go for yeah, probably Beast again. Beast is just always nice. Then I'll make myself a Lubellion, and as I said, we don't really care about the discard because we draw one with Beast anyway. So I'll say Lubellion discards a Eradicator Epidemic Virus that I don't really need because I have 2. And Beast draws me 1, so Beast chaining 2 again. It's a Lilith. Yeah, let's say they Veiler the Lubellion because let's be honest, they are gonna have some interruption. Then I can special summon Kit. Kit effect, I can get myself a branded spell or trap from the deck and then put one card, or from the banished or graveyard as well. And then put one card from my hand to the bottom of the deck. I already know what I'm going for. I'm going to get myself a banishment. Then I will put from my hand a Lilith to the bottom of the deck. I think, yeah, probably best choice. The bottom of the deck. And I will set 2. Then even if I couldn't make the Mirror Jade, like really, if they don't have a Veiler, I could always, this could have been a Mirror Jade, like, yeah. Then I can, in their draw phase, depending on what deck they are playing, I can say eradicate the epidemic virus. Oh, they don't have anything anymore, like they don't have any spells. Then still in draw phase, I will activate Branded Banishment, special summon back my Lobellion. Then I can make myself, I could make myself something, but if I just tribute off the Lobellion with the deck devastation virus, then I don't really want to do that. And then I could, let's say they have some more monsters in their hand, and then I'm just gonna deck devastation virus, tribute the Lobellion, and they don't have anything. Like, and for the next turns as well, like deck devastation virus is just destroy all monsters with 1500 or less attack in their hand and that they draw until the end of the 3rd turn. And epidemic virus destroys all spells or traps that they have in their hand or that they are drawing until the end of the 3rd turn. Deck devastation virus also destroys on field, which is really cool. Yep, this also destroys on field, just checked. So like even if they have a board, you can destroy it with this. Like it's just so insane. And they're not going to have any cards in hand probably. And for turn, I'm going to draw a Kit. This is not that good, to be honest. Like I got a sword in the graveyard, but I don't have anything banished from my branded monsters. So I can't really, like would be nice if they didn't, if I could have made the Mirror Jade, then maybe had something banished. And I could have just banished the sword from my graveyard to maybe get one monster from my banished pile. The normal summon Kit, get myself a branded fusion, then the monster I would have had with a sword I could put to the bottom of the deck, keep the branded fusion, and then just do normal branded fusion stuff. Yep. I hope you like this list. The 3rd test hand was, I don't know, I maybe tributed too much, but they're not gonna have anything for the next 3 turns. And yeah, Lilith, Arima, and Allure of Darkness, which would draw me into a branded fusion. So yeah, they don't really have a chance to play against this. Going second, this deck kind of struggles, but it's nice that you can tribute your opponent's stuff for cost. Like, let's say you play against Ignistas, you can still tribute their boss monster. You can tribute pretty much anything as long as there's no mask of restrict, or it cannot be tributed restriction on the monster you want to get rid of. Yeah, I'm gonna upload some more decks in the future because I had a kind of break for nearly a week. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.